vlog, I'm vlogging. I'm doing it. And I've already moved because my foot fell asleep and I couldn't stay sitting. So basically this is a reading vlog where I am vlogging about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because this is a highly anticipated read for me, a highly recommended read to me. And I just wanted to vlog my experience. This will not be spoiler free. I will just be saying kind of everything as I'm reading it, my reaction to parts of the books. And yeah, that's where we're at. I'm wearing my headphones like a necklace. That's the style now, but I'm only a few chapters into The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I can already tell it is going to hurt me so much. So I've once again moved to try to avoid noise, but I am only, as I said, a few chapters in. I'm about to jump back into the book. Right now where I'm at, all I really know is that Addie is not remembered by people that she meets. She is 23 years old and has been 23 for centuries, so she has traveled the world. She has lived many lives, but no one remembers those lives. As she has said, they're not significant, and I'm so curious. Oh, there's like this darkness following her. I guess she made a deal with someone, I'm assuming the darkness. Yeah, I am so intrigued so far. Okay, I swear I saw something that said there's time traveling in this book, but I think that I was wrong, and it's just flashbacks and no time traveling. So Adeline is drawing her stranger, and I am intrigued. So I've been intrigued by Addie in general, just like her dreamer ways, her curiosity, her obsession with art and books and stuff. I am just very intrigued also by her backstory and trying to connect the dots between her, original life and now being in 2014 and just whatever she did, whatever offer she made, whatever deal she made to now be immortal. I just can't wait to find out more. I also have to find my sticky tabs that aren't these sticky tabs, okay? I had another one that is just like this, except there's yellow, and I'm looking for that for reasons. I found it. For anyone wondering why I have more than one, it's because I got this one when I ran out of pink on this one because I color coordinate my annotations and jump cut because I lost my train of thought. But this one has yellow and this one has orange, and I wanted yellow for my color coordinating of annotations on this. Listen. I'm also already theorizing about the deal that Addie made. I'm assuming it had to do with the wedding in the beginning of the story because she obviously didn't want to marry anyone from her town, which I don't blame her. If I had to stay in the same town my entire life, I too would make some sort of deal with the devil. And because of Estelle saying the don't make deals with the gods who answer after dark or something like that, obviously I'm assuming that's who this shadow, this darkness that's following her is, and that's who she made the deal with. So I want to see if I'm correct. Also, I know she said she made him look the way he does, but like, darkness is the handsome stranger, right? And like, something's going on there, right? Okay, my assumptions about when and why the deal was made were correct, but at what cost? Because now I know the details of it, and is it really my vlog if I don't film in the car at some point? But anyway, I'm at the point where I've met Henry. I personally have met him, and I'm intrigued. I know he looks like this stranger, but he is a god or something, right? Like, there's something going on there because of his friend's play, the symbolism there. He's a god turned mortal, or like demon turned mortal. He might be the shadow or something. Like, I'm so confused, but I feel like something's going on there. I'm picking up vibes. There are vibes bouncing off the page and into my brain, and I could be connecting dots that aren't there because I do that sometimes. Addie just wants to live and see new sights and hear new sounds and taste new flavors. She just wants to live. Henry remembers her! Well, now I'm afraid that Henry is a cruel game that Luke is playing on her. Or with her. Okay, no, I think Henry was cursed by a different god. I'm just coming up with a ton of different theories and probably none of them are right, but it's okay. And now Henry knows her name. She can say her name. I've really enjoyed the way this book is written so far. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's really pretty. It's not like overly flowery, but it's still so pretty. scratch that, reverse it. I think that Henry made a deal with Darkness either when his girlfriend broke up with him. I think that Darkness like possessed him or something, or he made a deal to be loved, something like that. I don't know. Am I cooking or am I burning toast? I don't know. I really liked Remy. He was so sweet and he had the same name as the rat from Ratatouille. I cooked, but at what cost? Okay, so some thoughts right now. So while it makes me sad that Henry's mental health is getting better now that he knows Addie, I'm not gonna be like, well, that's bad and it shouldn't happen like that because it's fiction. Like in real life, obviously a relationship's not gonna fix your mental health and it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to put your happiness on a single person, but this isn't real. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I am an advocate for it is not problematic to consume problematic media. Like I'm not gonna get mad at people for shipping a couple that would be a toxic dynamic in real life because it's not actually real. I think it's only a problem when people don't realize that those things aren't okay in real life, but fiction is for exploring different dynamics and stories, even if they are more problematic. It's like, as long as you have the critical thinking skills to differentiate what's okay in fiction and what's okay in real life, then whatever. But that was kind of rambly. So to get back on track, Henry's past is complicated and it seems he generally became happier when he was in relationships, but we know more of his story once he makes his deal and once he meets Addie, and how he is happier when he meets Addie. But because of his deal, it makes sense for him to be happier when he meets Addie. At that point, he was spiraling because he wasn't real to anyone. He was just their perfect version of him, or whatever they wanted to see in him. So when he finally had a connection with someone where they didn't have eyes that were glassed over and they weren't seeing what they wanted to see, they were seeing him, it made sense for him then to become happier. So then he had a connection that was real, and that did make him just generally happier. And also in Henry's past, he was very much treated like a disappointment and he wasn't very much encouraged to do the things he liked. So this kind of reminds me of that quote from The Good Place. I'm gonna have to read this, so give me a second. People improve when they get external love and support. How can we hold it against them when they don't? Such a good show. But also I think that's kind of what's happening with Henry, is that he didn't have that external love and support and now he does, and he has someone that sees him for who he really is, and that is helping him improve in ways. I mean, yes, obviously I still think he should go to therapy, but this isn't real. So realistically I would like Henry to go to therapy, but in fiction, like, this makes sense. Like, it obviously in real life this would not cure your mental health issues, but this is fiction, so it's fine. I will say I am also scared because we know Addie doesn't age and it seems Henry still does, and he has a limited amount of time. I haven't really gotten into what exactly that watch is about, like how much time he has, but this obviously can't last just with the fact alone that Addie doesn't age. Luke said he loves Addie. And I have a feeling that have had a feeling that Addie's in love with Luke. I haven't read the rest of the New Orleans chapter yet because she has mentioned New Orleans so many times that I just know I'm not prepared. But Addie's mentioned Luke so many, well, not mentioned, she thinks about Luke all the time, and she's compared Henry to Luke all the time. And in that part where it was the morning and Henry was in bed and she was talking about how he looks like most like Luke at that moment, I was like, elaborate. So I'm just scared and excited because I mean, watching Luke kind of change. Is it pronounced Luke or Luce? Because online I looked up how to pronounce it and it said Luke, but she says it's short for Lucifer or Lucian, so I'm like, is it Luce? But I'm saying Luke. I just, watching his change to like, he wants her soul, to like, he's definitely fond of her and cares about her. I just don't know. Like, I know something's about to happen in New Orleans. I'm just so scared. I finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last night and then slept for like an hour. Not because I didn't even stay up that late reading it. I finished it kind of early and then I just couldn't sleep. I have thoughts, comments, concerns, theories about everything. It broke me a little bit. It's not, that's not why I didn't sleep. This just happens sometimes. I don't even know where to start. Like, I saw this coming. I knew she would sacrifice herself to save Henry, and absolutely love that she did, because considering all he, like, I love what? I was thinking along the same lines of he had a lot to live for. He was still young. Believe it or not, 28 is still young, and mental health is hard, and the things he's dealing with is hard. But I had hoped that he could get better. And he had his friends, he had his family. Like, Addie only had Luke and Henry. So her giving up herself for Henry to reverse his deal, 100% knew that was gonna happen. And but I did not. It was the matter of the very last chapter where Addie lays out her plan, that it was I mean, listen, and here's where my theories come in, because either this could be, multiple things could happen. Luke does, he is fickle, whatever, he gets tired of her and eventually stops loving her, and her plan works and she gets to be free. But then there's the possibility that he does actually love her, he can love, and he is going to love her forever because he truly loves her, and then she falls back in love with him. Or my theory is that she does love him. She was talking about him all the time. I've already said she was comparing Henry to him all the time. She even said about Henry, at first she was like, I wish I was in love. And then suddenly when she finds out he only has a certain amount of time to live, that suddenly she was falling in love. And I think that was more of a product of the circumstance more than it was she was actually in love with him. With Henry, I do think she was in love with Luke the whole time, and I think she's just being stubborn and spiteful the way that Addie has been the entire time. The biggest development she's had when it comes to her character arc is that she gave up herself so Henry could live his life. She believed that she wasn't entirely giving herself up, but she still did make a sacrifice, because she still let Henry go so that he could be he can live, he can have the rest of his life. Another theory is because this book is the book Henry wrote. The title of Henry's book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Then who's to say that last chapter isn't a chapter that Henry wrote? That's what he added for the end of Addie's story. That's what he wanted it to be. He was like, oh, Addie's clever and she's stubborn, and she doesn't actually love Luke, and this is what she would do. But I mean, he said he wasn't gonna write an end chapter because this is Addie's story and they weren't his words, but he got published, and the publisher could have made him, because he said the only thing he wouldn't budge on when it came to being published was that his name wasn't on it. It was Addie's. So I think it's still entirely possible that he did add that last chapter. So, I mean, it's still part of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So, theories, that's what he suspects happened. I truly think that Addie loved Luke, and this is not just because I am a romantic, or I am, but it's not, I am fine with a book not ending in romance, not ending in true love, whatever. It's just a matter of that she was always thinking about, always talking about him. So that's my theory for the end. Regardless, this book was so good. Whether the end is what I'm thinking it is, whether you guys have other theories, whether it's just completely, as she said, she's just playing her own game now, and she's never gonna love Luke, whatever, and he's whatever. whatever it is. But I loved the book. I'm 5 stars. I think it is so well written, well done. And my one criticism is just that, like, I don't think it had the biggest character development, the biggest character arc. Addie didn't really change much, but it was still, like, it was such a good story. It was such a good story. I would call it a historical fiction with a little bit of fantasy. Obviously, there's fantasy vibes with, like, darkness and that kind of magic, but it's not, like, what in my mind fantasy is. It's more of, like, a historical literary fiction. But I enjoyed it so much, and I highly, highly recommend it. So that's this video. I might go take a nap. I probably should. I will see you soon. Like and subscribe for more booktok content. Booktok? I don't even have a TikTok. Book content. Booktube? I completely forgot what I was saying. Oh, I do book vlogs, reading vlogs. I do book reviews. I'll do more scripted reviews and series reviews, but I definitely am going to do a lot more reading vlogs this year because of reasons. So I will see you soon. Bye!